Hello everyone, welcome. So today's video is not a short video, it's going to be a little longer. And if you think that you're only used to short videos and don't like to listen to the long ones, then probably this wouldn't be a good one for you. Um, so, well, today I'm going to dive deep into a topic which is very, very close to my heart, and that is about people. The possibility in people. And I will touch upon various nuances around that. So, as an ex-HR professional, now transitioned as a coach, I have always been caring deeply about people. In my, stint as a professional in the corporate, one thing that was very, very common and very prominent was the care for people, the empathy, the compassion, the care, which is there. It is inbuilt, and I do believe that those people who get into these caring professions like healthcare, HR, a lot of similar professions, the givers basically, they have this essence of a giver. They have love as the essence, they have care as the essence, and that's the reason why they are drawn into these careers, because they love to serve people, they care about people. And what happens later on, that is something which I'll dive in. And why these professions do not get their due as required. And only when there is a setback, like now we all are literally praising the healthcare professionals, because now we have understood the value that they bring in. Although, unconsciously we did know, but now, we are really seeing, our thought process is able to see and assimilate that. So what I'm going to uncover today is that whenever, a leader, he hires someone, gives a final yes to it, you would see a pattern wherein the leader would always be inclined towards hiring people in whom he sees some familiarity, a familiarity that is present in them as well. And so that is what the rapport is all about. I'm not diminishing the skills, the expertise which the person brings in, but there is something from within which the leader sees, and as a result of which he gives the yes to it, and the journey starts together. And I'm a firm believer that there is so much potential in every individual. Whether that potential gets the right platform to be nourished, to expand, that's a different thing. But every individual comes with gifts unique to them. And so whenever there is a hiring, you get on board and there's something which is seen in you. But over the time, what happens is, somewhere, if I may put that word as essence, somewhere the leader starts not to see the essence of the person for which he or she has been hired, but the leader starts to see everything which is unfamiliar, everything which is negative. And ultimately, a time comes when there is a huge gap between what the leader is perceiving and what truly the person is. And finally, either of them part ways, or their truest potential doesn't get expanded. And likewise, if I talk about the HR professionals, the giver in them is there. But again, once they get into a system, once they get into a particular environment, slowly and somehow that essence gets either overexpressed or underexpressed. Meaning, you either start to do more of who you are to the extent of getting exhausted, or you start slowly reclining or resigning and not doing, and both has its own side effects. And as a result of which, you lose the essence of who you are, and the experience of your presence, the way people start perceiving you, it becomes absolutely different from the way that you truly are. And over the period, what happens is, these people leaders do tend to get uninspired, because as a giver, let's say if you're giving way too much and there is no recognition for the work that you're doing, or let's say that the work that you're doing has great weightage, but you are unable to own that yourself. That means there is not much of a conviction from within, and not much of strength of belief in what you're doing. Slowly, you create a reality where others also do not see the possibility in you. And as human beings, our natural tendency is to sort of keep those things which is familiar and do away with those things which is unfamiliar. For a business leader, the familiarity is numbers, profits, drive, go-getters, confidence, assertiveness, aggression. That's the familiar zone of the business leaders. I'm talking about those business leaders who are highly efficient and has a lot of potential. But on the other hand, the business leader is unfamiliar with that side, like empathy, compassion, competent listening, holding space for people, emotional intelligence, care, coaching, eliciting the greatness in people, seeing the possibility, nurturing them, developing them. That's another side, which is not very familiar to them, right? And this side is familiar to the people leaders. And slowly over the period of time, what happens is there starts to be a gap in both the paths, because one is totally driven into the business side of it, to run the business, of course, and the other is totally into the people side of it, which is equally important. But where the problem lies is when both becomes parallel and not co-creating, collaborating, and forgets the major intention for which both has been brought into this picture of creating the vision of the organization. And by the way, why am I talking about all of this? It's because many times, and in fact, of late, I know some of the acquaintances, some of the people who I had coached in the past, my own experience as well. When our existence comes to the threat, the avenues that we resort to is we go back to our survival mechanisms, we go back to familiar ways, and that's when we make a choice to do away with the things which is unfamiliar to us. And hence, I'm talking about the major layoffs, I'm talking about the decisions which the leaders are now taking to cut down positions which they think is not relevant. Also, I'm talking about where people are being asked to leave because according to them that aspect has no value. So now absolutely the focus is on numbers, profits, business. So what I'm going to say is that the business leader who can't see the possibility is anyways going to go with his own ways. But the people leader who cannot own the possibility, who cannot project the possibility that people are, is also not aligned with the true potential of the people. And in a place where both is not walking in tandem and thinks that one is the enemy of another and starts boxing each other, one as the profit center and one as the people centric and not adding value, then my question is, what are we really creating in this world? I mean, like the example of a children. If you ask a child, your child, to just be who you want them to be, you're just creating a prototype of you. You're not eliciting that genius in that child, in your child. Likewise, if you are just wanting the familiar side to be replicated in the people that you have, then what you're doing is you're not leading basically. You're just asking them to be like you because that is easy for you. And you're not doing the hard work to bring them up, develop them, transform them, coach them, or helping them to see the possibility. That's one part. And the other side, the people leader is also, if you yourself don't own the possibility side of you and the value that you bring into the table, then nobody else is going to value you. Because if you don't value your contribution, then others will just put a value to you based on what they are seeing. And a human being has huge potential. And a true leader, be it people leader, business leader, is the one who can elicit the greatness in the people, create a culture where everybody performs to their highest potential, and not just hire people who are great and when the job is done, get rid of them and hire new people. No, that's not leadership. That's just your way of doing transaction, which is familiar to you. So my invitation to you all is, if we are really looking at creating a world, a corporate world post-COVID or during the COVID, a corporate world, a world which is based on values, which is based on the fundamental belief that people have potential, that people are capable, and they need the right environment to flourish their gifts. They need the right leader to elicit that in them. They need the right space to be able to express their talents. Then we got to do the hard work. We just can't escape, because that is absolutely our inability to create what we mostly talk about. Whether we talk this in the webinars, it doesn't make a difference. What are we really doing is all that matters. And if nonetheless, you can start it with your child itself, to be able to help your child and give them that nourishment which is required. And before I wind up, those employees who have been asked to leave in this unprecedented, challenging time, my heart goes out to you all. All I say to you is, don't lose hope or don't lose confidence in yourself just because an organization, just because a leader, just because they didn't see the possibility in you. Please don't lose that hope. You have the potential. You are immense possibility. If they didn't see it in you, create that wherever you are, in whatever you do. It's a seed which needs nourishment, And if nobody else gives it, give that nourishment to yourself. Start it from you. All right. With this, the idea of this video is not to project or put somebody in the hot seat, but all I am hoping for is a dialogue between business leaders, people leaders, and the people involved to be able to create a better world that we can be proud of and leave a legacy behind. Thank you very much. Until next, take care. Bye-bye.